There is time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verses 1 to 2. The head of the Susu royal family, a breadwinner, a chief technician engineer of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, is gone. Mr. Frederick Larweh was born on the 7th of November 1938 at Akrosuyuno to Mr. Tmitmiche Larweh Nwa and Mrs. Koyu Nakwo Larweh. He was the last of 10 children. He had his basic education and continued to Akrosuyuno Middle School, Odumasi, Labour A, till 1958. At middle school, he wrote and passed the common entrance examination and gained admission to Presbyterian Secondary School, Presec, and Adisadel College. But Fred could not attend both schools due to financial constraints. In 1958, he enrolled at Pando Technical Institute and later St. Aquinas Secondary School, where he excelled academically. Upon completion, Fred worked with the Meteorological Service and the Assembly Press, and later with the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Mr. Frederick Larweh was employed by the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation on the 30th of March 1961 with a grade of a technical assistant. Upon completion of the GBC Engineering Training School, he successfully passed the prescribed examination with an average score of 89% on 30th March 1964. He was posted to the outside broadcast unit of the corporation. Whilst at GBC, he got married to the late Mrs. Felicia Mamle Larweh and was blessed with 6 children, made up of 4 females and 2 males. Fred was a lovely and caring husband and father to his wife, biological and foster children.
Mr. Larweh is such a lovely dad. I mean, I can't be blessed with any other father. He's a father who lived with us. He was like a friend to us. You can go to him with anything and you are sure to have a way around it. For him, there is nothing that is impossible. He inspired us to go higher heights. He didn't think that you can't do anything. He taught us to pray early in the morning. You will read the Bible, we will pray. You dare not sleep. You will find him hating you, and you will be the one to pray or the one to read the Bible just to keep you awake. And surprisingly, that thing grew up with us. We went to various boarding houses. I went to a school where people were running away, going out for jams. But at the back of your mind, you know that there's a God who is watching you, even if your parents are not there. On your birthday, you go on your knees. He will bless you. He actually believed in the Father's blessings. Education was key to him. He always kept telling us that this is what nobody can take away from you. And he will tell you that it is not for him, just so you'll be independent. He doesn't want much from you. In fact, when we grew up, we started working. Even giving him a gift is a fight, because his whole desire is that you put that money into his grandchildren's education. I remember when I finished my O-level and he said my grades were not too good, so I should go to the training college. It was a whole fight. Mr. Godwin Avenobo had to come in and speak to me, so I went to the training college and then I completed. I taught for 2 years and I woke up one day and I said, this is not my life. I could see myself doing something better, and I stopped work. I didn't have anything to do. I just came to stay at home. That 1 year was my most difficult time with my father. He'll wake you up at 4 a.m., speak, tell you whatever he can tell you as a father. He doesn't see why you just stay at home. At his age, he wouldn't even sit down doing nothing. So he doesn't understand why young children cannot work for themselves. My father will tell you, when it was time for me to marry, he said, Eunice, I didn't bring this man, I didn't choose the man for you. So never will you come and tell me that you're no more interested. Once I agree, whether you're dying there, you're there. So that's the kind of father I had. He's so lovely. He's a father figure to everybody. Anywhere you go and you mention his name, I don't know how he did it, but he left footprints wherever he went to. So we are inspired to do better than he has done. I didn't think that I'll be sitting here talking about our father, because he was so strong, so healthy, so well. So this we didn't see that coming, but nonetheless, we still give praise to God for the life that he lived.
He was later posted to the transmission department of GBC and subsequently transferred to the Ejura transmitting station on 26th May 1965. He was reposted to the Tama transmission station on 5th November that same year on health ground. During Mr. Larweh's 43 years of working experience at the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, he attended numerous theoretical and practical training courses in various facets of electrical and transmission installations, modification of equipment, as well as sessions of strategic operational enhancement. These include training at the African Union of Broadcasting in Egypt on transmission, studio operations and maintenance, color television principles and maintenance, antenna construction, matching and installation between 1982 and 1983. He also obtained further training at Nippon Electrical Company, Japan, on transmission and studio installation, operations and maintenance between 1984 and 1985.
My first encounter with him was when I got employed in GBC in 1988. I had started something like normally you go around an induction type of training. So initially I started with radio studios, but Mr. Solomon, who was the chief engineer then, had a project on hand and he wanted me to come and help him. So my attachment or my rounds got truncated and I went to transmission, and that was where I met Mr. Larweh. And basically he was one of my trainers because I realized that he was very open-minded, and with time in transmission, Mr. Larweh as my teacher, and later I realized that he was academically inclined, so we started doing mathematics together. But when I realized that this was a very intelligent man, and I had just come from university, so I still had a lot of knowledge in science and mathematics, and if he was going to go back to the university, he needed to do some bit of mathematics. So that was what we were doing. He was teaching me, we were learning together. Then I had an opportunity to go to Japan. And whilst I was in Japan, he actually gained admission to KNUST to do a diploma course. In fact, our wish was that he would move from the diploma to do the degree course. And he was one of the people in KNUST who people like Professor Jackson actually admire a lot, because they realized at his age and his level of intelligence, and that was the time KNUST also was thinking of even setting up a radio station of his own, and they realized he was very resourceful in that regard. Anyway, having finished the course, I went to Japan and came back, and he had also returned, and that was when, as a chief engineer of transmission, I continued to work with him, and later as an acting director of engineering. He was my chief consultant when he came to radio FM projects. I must mention that Mr. Larweh was one of the outstanding people in radio, especially shortwave. And by the time FM was coming, he was one of the gurus. So even in retirement, anytime there was something on FM, he is the first person who comes to mind. I recall he was key in establishing a number of FM stations, including Tawasul FM in Tamale. Sometimes when there was an issue, sometimes they would even have to fly him over. So Mr. Larweh will be missed considerably. I mean, it will be very difficult to replace such a person, but with us still present, his students, I mean, you realize that even younger ones, he had to work with them, because he was always very ready to pass on knowledge and to give you the best technical advice he could. Masha, and even after 80, Mr. Larweh was still very active, but not for the accident. We are going to benefit from his knowledge for a very long time.
In 1993, Fred successfully completed a diploma program in electrical engineering at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. By dint of hard work and dedication, Fred rose through the ranks to the position of assistant technical coordinator and later to that of principal technician engineer, effectively 1st May 1994. Fred was promoted the head of installation and maintenance of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation FM transmitters nationwide when the corporation rolled out its FM transmission network. The transmitters were later added, a responsibility he performed with zeal and passion.
My dad, as I usually call him Grandpa, he was a very good father. He was not a lazy man. He's always up to doing something. And we have gadgets that whenever they get spoiled, he does everything to put them back on track. My dad, I remember he sacrificed a lot for us. He would inconvenience himself so that we will feel better. I lived with him. He was always on the move. He was always strong. He encouraged all of us to do something, upgrade ourselves. He would push us. He made sure that his grandchildren are okay. Whenever any of them fall sick, he will call, he will advise you on what to do. He will keep calling till he knows that the child is well. That is the kind of father we have. And he would encourage everybody who comes across his path to do something. Don't stay at where you are. You can make it in life. And the sky is just the beginning for you. And that is the testimony I have about Grandpa.
He received several commendations of his hard work, devotion to duty, knowledge, skills, and expertise to rectify seemingly insurmountable faults on then shortwaves and FM transmitters.
Ebetuno ewo GBC ha 97 September. Oka omo ye me interview panel ne ho. Obisa me question concerning ejuma mba be ye ewa in electrical power. Ko me amasa me wi Accra Polia mabaha fufo. Nti question no obisa me no pure technical knowledge and I'm assuming me answer the way on. One I did back one interview and say the man is good. Let's pick him. Very, very, very good. Until one me appointment letter. Until me the booking letter no. We first me too quiet. Me no echo high. Wa. Until you call high na you confisi you go install a transmitter. As you guy agent for one ubia why you do massa with GBC experienced man see who they know air call trick. Until ono one na also ope masem ba yenko ebe to me akoye adwuma na ewo ho. Until you call no e my ubia hotel a odem. The numere no na offer me as a young boy offer me say diagram ni me try no send ya e to me aye adwuma na fa. Na me explaining e di try no. Wa e ho no ani a o kan ya ni say e bi to me aye de aye. Yem bompai nti e bompai e wo ho na ade che na start aye adwuma no. It taking instead of 2 weeks no 1 week na ye adwuma no aye e wi e. Juana offer Accra say Elvis is good. I can train Elvis. Adiba ko a o kan ye no. Ye ba Accra e na me sande ni call Kisi. E no so ye ko yi. Awon so transmitter SA e wo ho. Nti ye ko akoye because not all ye good in transmitter. Very, very good. And I'm so ye good in power. Nti me ne no e na ye ko e. E also no instead of 2 weeks no ye di 5 days. E di adwuma no ewie ye. E na me sande no ba Accra ye san ko Amedupe. After that wakoye me papa me no ye di enanti. O chem adwuma no bebre. O chem se na ye kasa. Se na ye ni penifo be kasa ye ni ye kola so be ye di. bekasa because see that is oni ha ye na ye behwe echi e wo GBC ha nti eye me de nti me wa no friend be say okọ pension but onya edwuma bi private work bi a obe friend me na yakwa koye nti most of the FM station na e wo Ghana ha concerning transmission the obua kakana wa friend say mesi yen kotakwa secondly it never said the whole country ha oye pania omo install FM station the man private station for no wa friend na makoye power e di amano e wo nti kakram na meti say yesi oyare na mini manko home nti e china na yesa friend say Mr. Larweh daya once
On 8th September 1996, as a member of a team installing 2 transmitters at Amejope, he fell off from a ladder. The accident resulted in the loss of 2 upper teeth, cuts on the lips, and a painful swell on his wrist. This, however, did not deter him. He continued his devotion to duty after his recovery with so much enthusiasm and commitment.
I joined GBC in 2005, and by that time, Mr. Larweh had exited from GBC. But even in retirement, he was still in private practice, so from time to time we visited friends in GBC. And as the old were facing out, I became the younger one, and so we got acquainted dealing with some few issues. And that is how I got to meet Mr. Larweh. On a few occasions, he had asked me to procure some items for him. Even on the day unfortunate incident, I was to meet him at his workplace and hand over some components to him. But when I called, I was told he was not feeling well. But at his age, I took it as the normal old age sickness. But later we were informed of his demise. It was rather unfortunate. Mr. Larweh was one I did not meet in active service. But the few times I've met him, he was quite interested in young people in engineering and was also interested in their academic growth. And that is how I got to know him. He was very technical in his work and wanted to be as detailed as possible. He is one who will be very much missed. We have a few of this kind in the industry. He will be very much missed. And I know with his engagement with other young people, we will also replicate some of his good works.
The first time I met him, I remember when I was going to the house and my wife Eunice told me the father was in the house. I was a bit nervous because, as usual, you don't know what you meet or the encounter will be with your father-in-law the first time of meeting. Or potential father-in-law. So when we got to the house, Eunice just introduced me to him that this is one of his friends. And then he just looked at me and said, "Oh, okay, how are you?" I said, "I'm fine." And then he just gave a smile and then just left. That was it. And I was a bit surprised, but I said, "Okay, well, let's wait and see." Eventually things went on very well. I eventually came for the hand of Eunice in marriage. And I remember that day he has received us nicely, my family and all the other people who were around. And then at the end of everything, the only thing he told me was that take good care of my daughter and that I need nothing from you. So we got married and it's been so smooth. He's been so supportive. Every time we visit him or he comes to us, we chat freely. He always encourages that, look, whatever qualification you have, that is not enough. There are more things you can do. Strive and get better. And you should be honest at work. You should be hardworking. You should not be lazy. And then along the line, he also said that make sure that my daughter also go back to school to gain some more qualification. And thank God, because of his push, she now has her master's in business administration. And he's been a very supportive father-in-law. We were supposed to take care of him, but from time to time we see him rather supporting us. So we will miss him so badly. He's been so energetic that is the painful aspect of it all. If he had been so ill in hospital, at least our minds would have been prepared. Now, the sudden departure was such a big blow to all of us. It's been terrible, all these few weeks that we heard the news. But by God's grace, we've been supporting each other. And we want to say, Mr. Humphrey Frederick Larweh, who surely miss you. Your vacuum can never be filled.
Frederick Nene Sakite Larweh retired on 1st July 1998 at GBC as a Chief Technician Engineer, Head of FM Technical and Maintenance, now designated Senior Manager. Due to his selfless service and devotion to duty, he was given a contract appointment which was renewed until his exit from the corporation on 8th March 2004.
So Papa Sakte was the first person in the family to have higher education. So he became the light for the entire family. He was somebody we all look up to in the family. And he really encouraged us to be the best we could be. Even at his old age, he was taking care of the family. He will call you, and when he calls you on phone and there's something wrong, he can notice from your voice on the phone that there was something wrong, and he will go further to ask to know what is wrong with you. For me personally, he is somebody who has supported me both in my education, in my upbringing. When my father left me earlier on in my years, he became a pillar for me. He was always behind me when I was going to marry. And I remember very well the kind of words he spoke about me on my engagement day. That really has kept me up to this stage, and I really remember those words and has really encouraged me to be who I am today. When he calls you, one thing on his mind is about your education, about your development, about the development of your kids and all that. So he will encourage you to be the best you could be. When he heard I was doing my ACCA, he was so happy and encouraged me to charter as early as possible.
I had a paper to write when I was in university, but he could tell that I wasn't ready for the exam that morning. What he did was, he took one of my textbooks and asked me which chapter I wanted him to read for me whilst I was reading another chapter, another book. I showed him, he did that, exactly that. And whilst I was getting ready for the exam, he briefed me on what he learned. And when I was going for the paper, he asked me, in fact, he does that every now and then when you are going to write a paper, how ready you are for the exam, what grade or percent score you think you can get. He will write it down. After the paper, he would ask you whether you are confident of the score you mentioned earlier, or should he change it because he was recording it. And he compared them when the results are out. He created folders for each one of us. And because of that, I can find my results, class 3 results, my primary results, school fees, and all of that, because everybody had one. For me, I know that there are just a few parents that will have time to do this. A lot of them will just pay the fees and expect that you go through yourself, not Mr. Larweh. If you are not doing well, you won't watch TV for the whole term, just to make sure that you catch up in class. And it's gone a long way to help all of us to be what we are now. And I believe that he's proud of how far we've all come. And I believe that he's proud of how far we've all come. He didn't impact on our lives, just the families, but the lives of our spouses as well. They also learned a whole lot from him. He welcomed them, embraced them into the family, and regarded them as part of his children. There was a time one of my children wasn't well, and he was on admission. I had 2 IAs to write. I missed them because I was in the hospital with my son. And I told him that because of that, I wasn't going to I wasn't going to finish that course. He did not agree. In fact, he pushed me and made sure that I finished my law degree. And I'm grateful to him for helping me to go through that, because if not for him, I would have stopped along the line and wasted all the money I had invested initially. I'm the youngest, yes, but he still calls us to find out whether the next course we are going to do, and he'll tell you, you've been home for too long, 2 years now, I've not seen you or heard you say anything about school. I think you need to further your education. And he would challenge you to move on. Don't stay at one place for too long, because he said it is not the best sitting at one place for too long. He will challenge you to move on. Spiritually, yes, he was a pillar as well. Nobody's birthday passes by without him calling or asking you to come home for him to anoint you and pray for you. If you don't come home, he will call you on phone and say a prayer for you.
appreciated that. He repaired all our electrical gadgets. Your watch, blender, gas cooker, iron. He will make sure that it's back in shape and it's working perfectly well. And I know that the iron he has in the house and the clock he has in his house are 38 years old, because he will fix it when it breaks down, and they are still working perfectly well. We will miss him. I remember the day, the fateful day the accident happened. I spoke with him on the 17th of December 2019, around 10:30, 11. I called him and he told me he was in a meeting at work, and that when he was done, he would call me back. 3 hours later, his driver called to tell us that he was involved in an accident. We didn't anticipate that it was going to be that severe. We got to him, we went to the hospital, we were by him, and by the bedside, there was so much hope. The doctors, in fact, gave us hope as well. Wednesday, I was standing by his bed when the nurses and the doctors asked us to step out briefly. But 2 or 3 hours later, he gave up the ghost. It came as a shock and as a blow, because even for my office, barely a week before the incident, he came to my office. I had a problem with one of my certificates, and he decided to sacrifice that day to go with me to the school and get it sorted out. I told him it's likely I'll take the whole day, because I didn't want to take time off the office to go again. He said he didn't have a problem. And true to his words, we were together from 10 a.m. till like 3 p.m. when we got everything finalized before leaving the campus. And I remember on our way back, my husband called me and asked me whether my daddy was still with me. And I said yes, it was on loudspeaker. And my husband said that, hey, this man, the standard he's setting for his in-laws, they cannot meet the standard. But he heard it and he said, oh, I don't have anything doing at work that day, so I decided to go with him. He came to the office. I introduced him to my colleagues as my boyfriend, as we always call him, refer to him. And then barely a week, he just left us. But God knows best. We pray that God will keep him for us. All the values that he's taught us, we will try as much as we can to lift them and impart them on his grandchildren. I know his grandchildren also miss him so much, because he picks them up from school. 7 boys in his car. And when one says that I want to pee, they all get down to pee. He has to attend to all of them. But he did all of that with joy and with happiness. We were hoping that he would be with us for some time, because even though he was old, he was still healthy and could do everything. We saw him as a big brother.
After his exit from GBC, Fred subsequently formed the private consultancy firm Freelance Engineering Consult that provided installation and maintenance services to a number of FM stations across the country. These include Atlantis Radio, Top Radio, Vibe FM, Great FM, Radio VOA, Sena Radio, Sky Power FM, Radio Max, Kiss FM, Good News FM, all of Takrade, Pure FM, Radio Dynamite, both at Takwa, Nabil FM, Navrongo, Radio Might, Temale, Gift FM, Domai Hinkro, Spark FM, Dunkwa, Onofin, Boss FM, Gem FM, Spirit FM, Sum Sum FM, Channel R, Joy FM, Happy FM, Pink FM, Kes FM in Kumasi, Virgin City Radio Konongo, Jubilee FM, Keta, Classic FM Tachiman, and Aseda FM amongst others. Fred later joined the Stratcom group of companies as chief engineer, where he led the installation and maintenance for Sunny FM, Spring FM, Spirit FM, and Shaft FM. It was on one of his working routines at the office of Sunny FM that his sudden demise occurred. A miraculous incident happened when Fred's death was announced to the family. Immediately, his 38-year-old clock hanging on the wall in the hall fell.
contact with Mr. Larweh, I think some 5-6 years ago. And for the first time I saw him and mentioned my name, Jabano. Then he asked me a few questions about my grandfather. And I told him where my grandfather lived at Adraka. And he told me some stories. And that was the beginning of how I've become more closer to the family. He's one person that is very quiet. But then if you get closer to him, you know more about who he is. Very calm, very few words, but anything that he says, there's a lot of wisdom in it. So since then, anything in my family is there, and all the children. I think that's, and I wanted to be more closer to the hometown, and that's how also I got more closer to him. Unfortunately, every now and then when he's going, I postpone duty here and there. So I think we've lost somebody who would have taken some of us down to the village. And that very day that I heard that he's been knocked down by a motorbike, at least we all rushed. I also went there to see for myself. And I knew he will not going to pass on. I had a confidence that God would surely bring him back to life. He will go over that incident. Unfortunately, the Lord loves him more than we did. We wanted him. So that is Mr. Larweh for you. For me, like I said, he's very calm. Anything that you ask him, he will be able to tell you. Just ask the question, and he will tell you a little more or more than you expected to know.
Until his death, Fred was the only surviving child of his parents and the head of the Susui royal family. Fred, as he was affectionately called by his peers and senior colleagues, was very open, friendly, caring, humble, and energetic and hardworking. He enjoyed debate on a wide range of topical issues of personal and national interest. He mentored many young technicians in his field of work.
Daddy, I know that you are at peace wherever you are. I know that your God is keeping you well. I wish you well, Daddy. Safe journey, rest peacefully in the bosom of God. And I'm sure we will meet again. And we promise you will not depart from all the virtues that you've taught us. We will make you proud. Rest well, Daddy. Rest well.
So, Mr. Larweh Sakite, we wish you a very peaceful rest in the bosom of our Lord. And it is our belief that on the day of resurrection we shall meet again and rejoice in the kingdom of God.
Papa Sakite, you have done so much for us as a family. We thank God for gifting you to us. We appreciate all that you have done for us. And on behalf of the entire family,
Grandpa, it's so sad that you have left us, but we know you are resting in the bosom of our Maker. We thank God for giving you to us, and we thank God for making us your children. Go and rest. Grandpa Kumo. Grandpa Kumo. Very well, Grandpa.
Grandpa, we will miss you dearly. We wish you farewell.
But I will forever also remain in our hearts. Forever. May your soul rest in perfect peace. Amen.
May his soul rest in peace. We are all going to soon join him. And I know when we join him, maybe we will still be doing our FM and radio things and other technologies. So that may your soul rest in peace. We shall ever remember you for all the great role you play in raising some of us.
Today, we celebrate a hero, great oak tree, a father, and a friend. On behalf of the management and staff of the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, the Susu royal family, and children, we say you have fought a good fight and fulfilled your God-given purpose on earth. It is time for you to exit the world stage and return to your Creator. Until we meet again, fare thee well. Yahweh Jobam.